This is a tutorial on how to use ORP forms, and I'm at the website forms.oorp.org. I'm using the Firefox web browser for the optimal experience. I've also used Safari on Mac, which works fine, but I've noticed that when you input text into the blank fields on your forms, that the text is a little fuzzy, it's a little blurry. Although when you export the form and you save it to your computer, it shows up as clear. So it only happens while you're using the browser, but it doesn't affect the document after it's been exported and saved as a PDF. So for the optimal experience, we're going to use Firefox, and I'm going to sign in right here. Now, when you log in, you're looking at this dashboard, and it's very simple. It's a list of all your transactions, and these are all sorted by the property address. You can see the date that you created it. You can search for a transaction. Let's say if you had dozens of transactions, you could type in a street name. Like I'll put a street name in here, and I'll search, and it narrows down the street name I put in. And you can also click any of these fields up here to have all this data sorted. But you'll see, again, it's very straightforward with all the transactions here. And the idea is that, let's say you're going to write an offer for a client, or you're going to draft a listing agreement for a client. That would constitute a new transaction. So we would click this new transaction button here, and we'd put in an address. I'll just put in some sample address. And we'll put in a city. The state is already filled in because when we create your user profile, we create it for the state that you're licensed in. That way you have access to your respective forms library. So you'll see that the form library is going to be all California forms. And I'll put this in. We'll save it. So now you see that we have the transaction. I just named it Willow Street right here. So you've created this transaction. Actually, I've misspelled Los Angeles. So this is a perfect opportunity to show you how with these icons you can click documents, which will take you into this particular transaction. But we're going to actually click edit transaction and go in here and correct the typo. And that just simply allows you to edit what you inputted as the address. If you wanted to delete the transaction entirely, there's a delete button. But for now, we're going to go in, we're going to pretend like we're writing an offer. So we just created this transaction here, and then we check the box, or excuse me, we click the icon documents. And you'll see now we're at this dashboard within this address. You'll see that the property is identified here. And this, on the right-hand side, this is a library of California real estate forms. And what we do is, so we're writing an offer, and this Form 100 is the residential purchase agreement. So we'll just go ahead and click that. And there's about a 2 or 3 second delay, and that's because this form is actually being created with data input the data is inputted by your user profile and the address that you put in. So you'll see that Willow Street address automatically populated here. And you have this document that you can fill out. You can see that you can just simply type in the name of your clients here and fill out all these bluish fields. I'll scroll down to the bottom. You can see that your brokerage name was automatically populated. Your personal name was automatically populated. And then once you're in here, now you could download this form right to your computer, but we're not. We're going to pretend like we need to do another form, like an addendum as well. So I'm actually just going to click save, and that way it'll save all the offer data that I've put into the form, and you'll see it here. So now, again, we're in this Willow Street transaction dashboard, and we've added this purchase agreement. But let's say we want to do an agency relationship. So we'll just check that form, and you'll see that it automatically brings it up, and it has your brokerage name and your name in there, and you could type your client's name in, And if you wanted, you could immediately save this to your computer. Let's say you needed it on the fly. You could save it to your computer and print it out or email it to your client. And I'll show you about the DocuSign integration in a moment. But for now, we're just going to save it. And then again, this is going to take us back to our Willow Street transaction. So now we have the RPA, the agency relationship disclosure. And let's say we want to just add an addendum, one last document. So we have 3 in there. So we'll click an addendum. And you'll see that here it is. There's the addendum. The address is automatically populated, and we're going to save that. Now it takes us back. So here we are. Let's say that's all we needed for our offer. And what we have here is our 3 documents. Now, each document, you'll see that you have these icons on the right-hand side. You could send this particular document right to DocuSign, and this will integrate with your personal DocuSign account. And that way you could set this document up for digital signature. Or you could just download this right to your computer and then have a PDF and drag and drop into your email and send it to your client or the other agent. And then you have an edit button, naturally, because you may need to jump back into this form and make a correction or change terms. So I'm just going to save it here, and it's going to bring us right back out. Or if you need to delete the document, you can delete it right here. And then, of course, you're not always just doing single documents. You might be sending all of these forms. Let's say you were going to send all these forms to your client through DocuSign. You could check this box. It's going to select all the forms. And then see this button here, Bulk Actions. This drop-down menu shows you have 3 options. You can delete everything. You can export everything. And by export, that means download it to your computer. So that just gives you the option to download multiple forms at once instead of having to do form after form after form individually. Or you can export all these forms in a bundle to DocuSign. But the idea is that if you checked the box of multiple forms, you can do a bulk action here rather than having to rely on doing that same action individually through these icons. So that's how the bulk feature works. Now let's say your brokerage requires an affiliate business disclosure or some in-house or proprietary form. There's an import form button here, and this will, if you click this button, it'll allow you to browse for the form on your computer and import it into this file. And then you could bundle it together with these and send it through DocuSign, or save it as a bundle with these on your computer and email it to the other agent. But the idea of this import form button is that its function is to allow you to import a document that's not already part of this library of California real estate forms that you're seeing here on the right-hand side. And that's it. If we need to jump out of this transaction and maybe work on another, you'll see that we're in the documents of this transaction. We just can check this or click on the hyperlink, or even click here on this tab, and it brings us back out to this main menu of all of our transactions. And we can jump into each transaction as needed. They're all right here. Now you do have another tab to edit your profile, and that at this point is just the ability to change your password, because the rest of your profile will be created on the administrative side by us. But if you need to change your password, it can be done here. Aside from that, this is your main focal point. It's the dashboard to manage all your transactions. If you do have questions and need support, feel welcome to email contact@orp.org, and you'll see our email address here below in case you get stuck. But feel welcome to create a transaction and play with some of the forms to see how it works and get used to the functionality. And enjoy. Thank you for watching.